Lawmakers are racing now to avert a government shutdown. The House was on track to vote on a bipartisan bill until President-elect Trump and Elon Musk opposed it publicly. Now, Congress has until tomorrow's deadline to keep the government funded. Democrats say House Republicans will bear the blame for a potential shutdown.
House Republicans have been ordered to shut down the government and hurt everyday Americans all across this country. House Republicans will now own any harm that is visited upon the American people that results from a government shutdown or worse. An agreement is an agreement. It was bipartisan, and there is nothing more to say.
All right, put a period right at the end of that. Let's bring in Democratic Whip Katherine Clark for more on this. Congresswoman, thanks so much for taking the time. We saw you in that video standing right next to Congressman Jeffries. Can Democrats really be free of blame? Usually it takes two to tango. We did see how this played out, though. But what are your thoughts on that?
Good morning, Phil. And yes, here we are again. This is the sixth time that we have been on the verge of a government shutdown. But what is different about this time is that we had a negotiated deal, a bipartisan, bicameral deal that was focused on meeting the needs of the American people. And at the last minute, we had Elon Musk, an unelected but influential person to this incoming president, pull the rug out from under the people who need the government's help at this time. So we have once again seen the House GOP plunge us into chaos, take away the support that people need, all in furtherance of a plan that they have set forth, which is to cut Social Security, hike the cost of prescription drugs, and do nothing about reducing costs for American people, whether that's childcare or at the grocery store. So this is just beyond comprehension how at this late date, the majority in the House walks away from a deal they made and turns their back on the American people.
So what happens next then? What's the latest on negotiations? Are lawmakers any closer to agreement? How does it even happen?
You know, that is entirely in the GOP's court. What we have from them so far is radio silence. And that is unacceptable and should be unacceptable to every American who is counting on getting disaster aid, to our farmers who need to make sure that they are going to have the farm credits they need to be able to plant for the next season. The impacts of this shutdown, of walking away from this agreement, of at the holidays saying the American people don't matter. What matters is fulfilling the ego and filling the wallet of already the richest man in the world, Elon Musk, is outrageous. And so we are waiting, as we always have, with our hand out in bipartisanship, but we are not going to join them in turning our backs on the American people. We are going to fight for them, fight to bring governance and to their chaos, and make sure that we stand tall for people who need our support.
As you know, President-elect Trump is now calling for the debt ceiling to be eliminated entirely. Democrats have supported that as an idea in the past. Is this an area, do you think, where there could be some bipartisanship?
You know, listen, the Republicans have used the debt ceiling as a tool. As you know, people may recall when Kevin McCarthy was Speaker, they used plunging our economy into a recession, taking the global economy over the cliff in order to extract concessions. We came to the table. President Biden came to the table and made those agreements. We have done that work with them because we are focused on making sure that working families at home have solutions from their government, that we are responsive to them. So what they are going to do with the debt ceiling at this last-minute chaos they have injected into this process, we'll hear from them. But what we do know is that their plans are very focused on making the wealthier wealthier and not looking out for people who are trying to make ends meet, are trying to meet this time where housing costs are such a challenge, the cost of prescription drugs, small businesses trying to recover from disasters, our farmers, our communities hit by fire, hit by floods and hurricanes. That is where the GOP's focus should be. It is where Democrats are, and we are waiting to hear from them on what their plan is to make sure that the needs of the American people are met.
Congresswoman, as you point out, we have been here before. The American people are seeing a deadline just days away. They're seeing what Elon Musk and President-elect Trump are putting out there publicly on social media. They're hearing you on our show right now. But at the end of the day, if there is a shutdown, people won't get paychecks. People who work for the government, military, what do you say to those folks right now about what they're facing just before the holidays?
Yeah, that they should be outraged that we did what we are supposed to do. We came together, and let's go back a few steps in this process. In the House, the GOP has been in the majority for 2 years. They have failed to bring a budget together. They have failed to bring a farm bill to help our farming communities to the floor. They have failed to meet their basic responsibilities of keeping government open for the American people. And we have stepped into that void time and time again to make sure that our focus is on making sure families at home, our veterans, our military, that all these crucial constituencies have their voices heard in the corridors of power. And what we're seeing from the GOP is they're listening to one voice, Elon Musk, who stands unelected, but also he stands to benefit greatly in his own personal wealth. He's already the richest man in the world, but that is not enough for him. So we are going to stand in this fight and make sure that the voices of the American people are heard. This isn't partisan. This is, do you stand with people or do you not? And what we are clearly hearing from the GOP, from Elon Musk, from Donald Trump, is they are infighting in their own party, injecting chaos, and only fighting for those who already have great wealth and power. And we are going to continue to stand with the American people as this unfolds.
Democratic Whip Katherine Clark. Congresswoman, thanks so much for taking the time. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.